Dylan, chill out.
Slow. What's going on, guys? It's your favorite one-man bike building, Jeep building show, built from the bottom. And today, this is, I think, part 5 of the Jeep build. I just got my wheels in for it. These are 22x12 ballistics. And we're about to go take these over to go get mounted and balanced because I got tires in here. Check them out. In this video, I'm going to be putting the wheels on it. I'm going to be picking up the axles that are all powder coated and everything and putting this new hood on the Jeep. So, check it out. I got some 37 by 1350 fuel MTs. And then we come over here. I just picked up a new hood. Got this thing out down in Tampa for only $50. It's a mint hood. I just realized something. It doesn't have Rubicon on this side, but it has Rubicon on this side. So the exact same hood as this. I was gonna run maybe a more aggressive hood, but I saw that thing for 50 bucks, couldn't turn it down. This hood's just too scratched up. I didn't want to get painted. And there's like a couple little dents in it. So we're gonna take this puppy off, put the new one on. But first off, let's load these tires up. But actually, I'm gonna show you guys what the faceplate on these wheels look like. So I didn't decide to go with too crazy of a looking wheel just because everything underneath this Jeep's gonna be like all powder coated and looking crazy. And too much crazy looks stupid in my opinion. So off the rip, I'd say packaging on these wheels is not the best. I've seen way better. Oh wait, never mind. They got the nice cover on it. I'm dropping this thing. So let's check this thing out. Boom. Let's box this puppy back up and go drop them off to go get mounted. It's nighttime now. I got these wheels mounted up to the tires and dang, they look freaking sick. I also got my axles here. Everything is all powder coated along with all of my control arms, springs. This is, you guys won't be able to really see it in this, I think. So this is a 3-stage powder coat where it's chrome, a transparent red, and then a clear on top of it. And this looks so sick. I got everything sitting right here, all in these boxes. But let's unload everything and get inside the shop, and then I'll show y'all a little bit more up close of all this stuff. So I got all this stuff here on the floor unwrapped. I'm gonna start, I wanna say, putting the Jeep together right now. I don't know what I wanna do first because I've never had anything that's like all painted like this on the undercarriage, even with axles. I've never had powder coated axles before. So I think the game plan here is going to be I'm gonna start with the rear because I need to put the bushings here in the front and that's not gonna happen tonight. I'm gonna start mounting up all the control arms inside of the frame and then bring the axles underneath it and then get the axles on jack stands with the springs and then just start piecing everything up together. So this Jeep really isn't mounted the best way I want to say to really feel safe working underneath it. So I'm going to try to do all the minimum stuff to get it safe enough where I have the back good and then I can move these boat stands to the front because the front piece is what's really sketchy. So we're going to start with putting that rear axle in and let's just start mounting up all these control arms. The game plan here is going to be pick this rear axle up, walk it over here, put it on this blanket, and then slide the blanket underneath the Jeep. So I got this rear axle kind of where it needs to be right here. I also put the control arms on this side in place. And there's one thing I realized while doing a build like this. You're not going to put no cruddy looking hardware like that on this. So I'm just coating with some Rust-Oleum. The semi-gloss stuff, the same thing I used on the frame. All the hardware that's going to be holding that stuff on so we have some nice clean black hardware. And I'm probably not going to be using an impact on anything underneath this. I'm just going to be hand wrenching everything so it can stay looking mint. But once that dries, we'll get the other side control arms in place, and then we're going to start tilting this axle and hooking up those. There we go, I got the control arms on, everything's hand tight. Now it's time to put in the coil springs. So a little weird transition in the video here. I'm realizing this while editing. We just moved over here to the front axle, and I am currently hooking up the front control arms onto the frame. And you can see I put the front axle there underneath with the same method of putting it on the towel and then pulling the towel underneath it. And I'm just waiting on my hardware to dry over there that I just painted, so I can hook the axle up to the control arms, and then I'll put the springs underneath it, and then I can get it on jack stands, and it will be pretty safe to work underneath, in my opinion. Alright guys, I got everything here in the rear end. Everything's tightened down except for this upper track bar bolt, because I don't have the washers for it and I don't want to scratch up the powder coat by cranking that thing down and then just taking it back off to put washers on it. So that's going to stay loose for right now. But now it's time to put on these. This will be for the emergency brake here in the rear and the dust shield. So I just sprayed these up with a semi-gloss. They really weren't too bad. I kind of wanted to powder coat these, but it just ended up not happening. But you can see I cleaned the crap out of these on the inside and then on the outside too, but I just figured I'd hit them with a fresh little coat of semi-gloss so everything looks nice underneath there and you don't end up seeing this side anyways, even though, you know, it doesn't look bad. But let's put these rear things in along with the axle shafts, and now I can get some wheels on here in the back and get her off the jack stands. So I got everything kind of under control here, torqued all of the control arms. I got this hub, or I got this axle shaft in, and you can see I got something on right here. It looks like a wheel spacer. I think that's what it is. A lot of people don't like those, but I'm just gonna put that thing on there in the meantime. I know I got these really dirty brake calipers on there, and they're not gonna stay there too long, and I don't think my rotors are gonna be on there either, because I might swap out the whole thing and upgrade it to a better caliper, drilled and slotted rotor. But this will work in the meantime. I already cleaned those up. I took off the brake pads, put new brake pads in it. So now it's time for me to finally mount up these rear wheels. This thing has been sitting on jack stands for like 2 to 3 weeks, and I am so excited to get to this point on the build. Wheels are on, everything's torqued to spec, but we have a concern. She might be too thick. I know it's a rare thing to say, but this thing, those wheels are really hanging out there. I'm going to leave it on there for now because I have no fenders on it, so I really don't have any reference of how far they're hanging out. But if they look anything like that with the fenders on, I'm going to have to take those spacers off. Those things are just way out there. But I do have those XRC fenders, and they are pretty beefy, so we'll see once I get it all put on there. But dang, dude, check that out without jack stands underneath it. It looks gnarly. I just ended up saying screw it and put those shocks where they need to be, because I'm moving shops, and I don't want to risk losing hardware in this, you know, transition. I know my new shocks aren't going to be in until I get to the new place, so there's no point in taking those off, having that hardware rolling around. But check this out right here. So I got every piece of hardware underneath here. Those dust shields, those calipers actually don't look too bad here. Those dust shields all painted, everything underneath here looks brand new. I ran those wires, you know, a little bit different way so I can get more flex here in the rear end, and then I just ended up zip tying it and cutting off all those tabs that were broken off. And check this thing out. I still got to hook up the drive shaft. And then, yeah, let's start moving our way to the front. Ball joints come in tomorrow, so I can get that front hooked up, and then she'll be sitting all on the ground. Alright, so I don't really know how this video is going to end up, like, piecing together, because it's been multiple days that I've been doing this. I just got in today my front ball joints right here. I just got this side in. I didn't film it because I really didn't know what I was doing this first time doing this. So I'm going to film putting in this side, and then we can get the axle shafts inside of this thing and get the front wheels on it. As I'm pressing in these ball joints, I just want to let you guys know those wheel spacers lasted a solid 30 minutes on the Jeep till I decided that wheels hanging out that far look pretty dumb, and I ended up taking them off because those wheels already do have a negative 50 millimeter offset on them. There we go, check that out. I got my steering knuckle in place. I just greased those things up, and everything on this, I wiped off every little bit of grease. Everything here just has to look absolutely perfect. What I'm gonna do now is put the dust shield on and start sliding the axle shafts into the axle tubes, and then we can get the wheels on it. I just got the doors on this side of the Jeep. We only got 2 of them done. Eric shot some absolute glass right there. I think it looks sweet. I can't wait for the XRC fenders and bumpers to come in. But the next thing to do is going to be putting the front axle shafts in. I sprayed these knuckles with a little bit of semi-gloss just so they look mint, because that's like one of the other things that you will be seeing on the axle. You won't be seeing any of this part. Hardware is getting cleaned up, and while we wait for this stuff to dry, I'm going to be swapping the hood out, because this hood is, you see that hood right there? Yeah. That hood is scratched to hell, got a couple little dents in it. And then we got ourselves our new one right here. So me and Dylan are just going to put this thing on real quick while we wait for that to dry. We got the calipers compressed, rotors are going on it. See, we got our nice clean knuckles, and then she'll be rolling, and then Texas should be here any minute, and we'll be able to get this thing to the new shop. Calipers, rotors on. Check out how clean those knuckles look on this thing. I'm gonna clean all this wiring and stuff. I still don't have my diff covers, but this thing is good to put on the ground, but we need to get the wheels on this thing, so we're gonna get right into that. So let's set this camera up for a little bit of a time lapse, and then we'll finally see what this thing looks like stanced out on the ground. I got one tire on there, and the auto transporter that's gonna be moving this Jeep out of here. As you guys can see, this place is pretty empty now. I got like one more day I'm gonna be in here. Let's see what trailer he's gonna be hauling this thing with. Hey man, nice to meet you. I'm Reese.
Surprise. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Dude, this thing's huge. Just kidding, guys. This is my friend Texas, and we got ourselves a rig right here to put the Jeep on. You're probably gonna wanna, or have Dylan move and put this over more, because
yeah, I'll pull over more.
The Jeep's gonna come out, and there's no point in going back and forth with it. We'll just come straight out, go down here and put her on. Guys, I got the wheels on it, and we're slowly inching this thing forward. There's like sand inside the rear pinion, so we have to like rock it back and forth to get this thing going. But once we get it outside, we'll see how putting this thing on the trailer ends up going. But it looks so sick right here.
They're looking good. Hey, we need to lift the shop door open some more.
Oh. Be a good idea. That way a little bit. Alright.
Looking good.
Here.
Slow. Technology we've ever.
I don't think that was that bad. We got her on here. Hopefully getting her off goes just as smooth as getting her on there. Wow, this thing looks killer up here, dude. We got Dylan and Tex strapping her down, and that's gonna be about it for this video right here. We got the axles underneath it. Stay tuned for the next part, and I will be putting the bumpers, squaring away everything at the bottom, and hopefully the XRC fenders on it, and we might be able to drive it next video. That's it for right now. You guys will see the new shop next upload. Peace out.
This thing's gonna look sick going out 41.
Oh yeah, dude. It leans heavy to the side that has the doors on it. Have you seen that?